Hanging out here with the game day, it's Lexi Swatt, and I'm joined with the Marcus Mosher. Marcus, how you living today?
I'm doing really well now that we have game one of the NBA Finals coming up.
Yes, we finally made it to the NBA Finals, and I'm so excited. Now, this is a personal opinion here, but it's been a bit of a roller coaster of a season, from COVID being the reason that this whole thing has been shortened, the Harden trade to injuries, especially right now. It's been quite the ride. Now that we've made it to the NBA Finals. The finals is set between the Bucks and the Suns. Do you think this is going to be an underwhelming matchup?
I mean, I don't think so. The only reason why it might be underwhelming is if Giannis doesn't play at all, because he's really the biggest superstar in this game. He's a two-time MVP. If he doesn't play at all, then yeah, I do think it is a little underwhelming. But Lexi, this is the number 2 seeded team in the Western Conference. It's the 3rd seed in the Bucks, who've been the number 1 seed, in previous seasons. These are two really, really good, exciting teams. We shouldn't be underwhelmed by this matchup at all.
Now, the big thing in question is Giannis and if/when he'll end up playing. And along with Giannis, Chris Paul, those are the two dominating headlines that we've been talking about since, even before the playoffs. This is the first time also in 10 years that we'll see an NBA Finals without LeBron, without Curry, without KD. Does this excite you? Does this kind of diminish maybe how exciting a finals can be? And especially since we just talked about Giannis still being up in the air.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I'm a LeBron fan, so I'm a little biased here. So it kind of stinks not to see him in the finals. But again, I really like it. I love Chris Paul. I think he's so much fun to watch. We know how good Giannis is, but there's a lot of really fun stars and upcoming stars in this series between, Devin Booker and Jru Holiday and Deandre Ayton. There's certainly a ton of things to watch. And that's why I think it should be a really fun series.
And another player that we've been watching for the last couple of days is Khris Middleton. He came out as a star after less than 2 years ago with his max deal with the Bucks being billed as the worst in NBA history. Is Khris Middleton kind of allowing these media members and these writers to eat their words after the way that he's been playing in the playoffs?
I mean, yeah, right, because he's the reason why this Bucks team is in the NBA Finals. Not only was he fantastic in Game 5 and 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, but he was really the reason this team beat the Nets in 7 games. I mean, he was phenomenal down the stretch. He was great in overtime. I think when the Bucks get into their half-court offense, a lot of times I trust Middleton more with the ball than I even do with Giannis. So, yeah, I think for what he means to that team, being able to elevate the players around him, I think Khris Middleton now is turning into one of the better contracts in the NBA.
Which is exciting things to see. And on the opposite side of the ball with the Suns, talking about another player, Marcus, that you're excited about, Deandre Ayton is still one of the young guys and making quite an impact on this year's playoffs.
Yeah, I would think at the beginning of the season, a lot of people thought that the pick of Ayton at number 1 could go down as one of the worst in NBA history, right? With Luka Doncic going a couple picks after, Trae Young going at number 5. And what has Ayton done in the playoffs? He's just blossomed into a superstar, 16 and 12 throughout the playoffs. I think this is a player that could change the outcome of this finals. If he dominates like we saw against the Clippers and like against the Lakers, I think the Suns are going to win this series. I'm really curious to see what DeAndre Ayton does, not only on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end as well.
And another thing, I think it just proves how strong the class of 2018 was for the NBA draft class. So we've talked about the Suns. You're really looking forward to them. But if there's one aspect of this finals that you will be focusing on, what is that aspect?
Yeah, it's Jru Holiday for me. The Bucks gave up a ton to go get him. And this is the reason why when they get into big games and big series, they want somebody else that can take the pressure off of Jru Holiday and Giannis. We know Giannis might be out for the first couple of games, but Jru Holiday is somebody who can get you 20 points any single night. He can lock down the team's best guard. So does he guard Chris Paul? Do we see him on Devin Booker? I want to see what kind of impact Jru Holiday has in this game. Because, again, the Bucks gave up a ton to get him. They need him to play like a superstar in the finals.
We're here. We're at the NBA Finals. You've mentioned it a little bit before, but if you could elaborate for us why you think the Suns will win this series.
Yeah, I just think they have a phenomenal starting unit. The bench has been really good in the playoffs. I'm not sure the Bucks have anybody that can stop DeAndre Ayton just gobbling up all the rebounds. And then there's Chris Paul, right? Like, I think he's playing some of the best basketball of his career. He's going to have complete control of the series. I just think the Suns are a better team, and without Giannis, I think they should win a couple of these early games, get on a little bit of a hot streak, and win. I'm going 4-2. I think the Suns are going to close it in 6.
Closing it in 6. Chris Paul is finally in an NBA Finals setting. We'll see what happens with Giannis. And as always, with all of your NBA Finals news and sports betting news galore, head on over to thegameday.com. We'll help you out.